I'm just helping you invest in your future, my friend.
It sounds like a get-rich-quick scheme.
Yes, thank you. You will get rich quick. We all will.
Hello and welcome. Hi everybody. Do I have food in my teeth? Let me know. How's everybody doing? Bubba just finished drinking water, so he's choking a little bit. Hi, buddy. He's been sleeping all day, so I'm sure he'll be back asleep soon. How's everybody doing? Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. I know I originally posted on the community tab last week that the stream was going to be Tuesday this week, but I don't know how to read a calendar. So here we are. It's Wednesday. We made it. Happy to be here. I see Aaron says, I was ready to get rich on Monday, and now I don't know what day of the week it is. That is the vibe. That is the vibe we're all going with. So thank you so much if you're here. If you're watching live, catching the replay. Excited to get into it. I did add a couple more sounds to the soundboard. If you were on stream last week, you might recall these. I was having a good laugh as I put them together. Let me just find them. Okay, so these are the two new sounds that we added to the soundboard.
Have you really got that you are God?
Have you got that you are God? Because you are. Okay, that's number one. The second one is my personal favorite. Block your children's ears if there's children in the room, because I'm pretty sure this one has swear words in it.
Selma, it's your fucking fault. So why don't you go yell at yourself for taking this long?
Why don't you go yell at yourself, guys? If you're not getting the results you want, it's your fault. You didn't believe hard enough, okay? Let's try to believe a little harder. Today, we're going to learn how to I lied. We're going to learn how to build a $1 million coaching business. So if you are in the market, perhaps you are currently a coach, you want to become a coach, this is going to be the stream for you, where one of our favorite recurring characters here on the channel is going to teach us how to become millionaires. And so I don't know about you guys, but I am definitely ready to get rich today. So
Raise your hand if you want to get rich.
raise your hand if you want to get rich. You're in the right place. If you do, let's go ahead and get into it. For some reason, the comments on the chat aren't showing up on my computer. Okay, there we go. Hillary says, Baby Nugget and I are ready to get rich. Amazing new sound bites. You know what? Honestly, I'm trying to up the soundbite game because it's a lot of fun. So if today we hear something and people think it would make a good soundbite, say the word. Although we do have a couple of sound bites from today's character, if you will, such as this one.
I'm always baffled when people don't have a life coach or don't want one. I'm like, what? It's the most amazing thing ever.
Having a life coach is the most amazing thing ever, and I'm always just baffled when people don't want one, as well as this sound.
I want all of you to let that one especially deeply sink in.
Two of my personal favorites, let's be honest. Okay, let me quit yapping because we're already 5 minutes in. What else is new? And we're just going to jump right into it. I will pull the chat up on the screen for those of you that are watching from a TV, perhaps. There's Bubba. And today's beverage of choice is actually very exciting. Today I have Pop Off. That's the French side, sorry. It is a craft soda similar to, I guess, in the States, like Poppy or Olipop. But this company is actually owned by a friend of mine here in Delta, BC. And so it's like a probiotic soda, and they just launched in Whole Foods in British Columbia. So very exciting times, and I haven't tried this flavor. So I did buy this with my own money, and I'm excited to give it a little taste. So let me know what you're drinking in the chat, and we'll get into it. Sarah says, I haven't heard her voice in forever. I'm feeling triggered. You know what? Aren't we all? Okay. Oh, a Dr. Pepper. Sign me up. I love Dr. Pepper. You know what I tried the other day? If you're in Canada and you're familiar with Cove Soda, they used to be like a kombucha company, but I'm assuming they had to change the name based on the ingredients. Anyway, it's like a healthier soda. They had a Dr. Pepper flavored one. It was actually so good. I could get down with that. Okay, anyway, this is not a soda/drink review channel, but it is a huge part of my personality, so I'm going to keep this segment in every week. Here's what we're going to be learning today. Let me just note the time so people watching the replay don't have to stab their ears out. 5 minutes and 50 seconds. Okay. Are you ready to take your coaching business to the next level and create a $1 million empire, guys? Guys, we're not working on those 6-figure businesses anymore. It's $1 million or bust. In this episode, I will be sharing the 5 essential steps to becoming a millionaire coach. Scaling your business from multiple 6 figures to 7 figures requires a different a different approach and mindset. It's not just about working harder or doing more of what got you to 6 figures. You need to create a scalable offer. How many times have we heard that one? Master marketing and selling at scale, deliver incredible results to your clients, and embody the $1 million self-concept. Okay, before I go any further, I want to say a few things. First things first, I have never worked with this particular coach whose podcast we're going to listen to today. However, I have spoken with a number of former clients. I have also read stories that have been posted publicly on forums like Reddit. And so, of course, everything is just what has been alleged to me or what I have allegedly read. I'm not stating any of this as fact. But this particular coach, I believe, and maybe some of you who are familiar with her in the comments can share, my understanding is that many past clients are very unhappy with the service that was rendered for the price that they paid. And so as I'm reading this, it becomes a little bit ironic to me that she is apparently going to teach us how to master our marketing and sell at scale, which she has done, but to deliver incredible results to your clients. Because as far as I know, allegedly, many of her clients have not gotten incredible results. And maybe I'm misguided, maybe I've been lied to, maybe that's not true. But that's just what I have been led to believe. That some clients, sure, who have copied her exactly have seen success, but many, many, many of her clients were not happy with the results they got and did not actually receive incredible results to embody the $1 million self-concept. But again, we'll see. We'll see what she has to say. Okay, join me as I dive deep into these 5 steps, sharing insights from my own journey to multiple 7 figures. You will learn how to create an irresistible offer that you can sell to unlimited clients, the keys to effective marketing and selling at scale, how to over-deliver to your clients without burning yourself out, and the critical mindset shift required for millionaire success. If you're ready to play a bigger game and create massive impact and wealth, this episode is a must listen. So I will also add that this was submitted to me through my content reaction form, which is linked in the description of every single one of my videos. So if you have podcast episodes you want me to react to on stream, you can go ahead and leave those there. Juliet says, so ready. That's the kind of attitude you need to embody if you want to have a 7-figure business. So stay tuned. 6 figures isn't enough to keep up with inflation anyway. That's the kind of rich attitude we need around here. I'm living for it. Okay. Let's see. I don't even know. Okay, I can listen to it right here. Whoa. Okay, I think she talks pretty fast. So we'll start at 1 speed. If it's boring, we will speed up to 1.5. And as always, I'm going to skip forward a little bit because the first
different circumstances.
First few minutes is always pretty boring, is what
conversation, but I've talked a lot about how it takes.
Also, let me know how the volume is relative to my voice and I can fix it.
Getting in and delivering the work over and over and over again to lots of different people with lots of different circumstances. And eventually what happens if you're willing to just get in and coach your way to the result and develop ideas and concepts along the way and get your work out into the world, eventually your simple process will emerge. And that's really what's happened. I filmed my first iteration of the $2 million group process in 2024, early in 2024. I want to say February, but I can't remember. But I spent 2 full weeks recording what is now the $2 million group process. And that process hasn't changed. But as I taught it, once the process was created, after I taught it a few more rounds, I realized that it just needed to be reorganized, that suddenly there were only 5 steps. There were several more in its first iteration, but really there are just 5. And everything I filmed that week fits into these 5 steps.
Okay. Anyone who has been here for any amount of time, honestly, probably knows that one of my biggest gripes with the coaching industry, but also just like the online education space, is that every single one of these gurus wants you to believe that becoming a coach, becoming a millionaire, becoming a VA, becoming a personal trainer, becoming insert job title here, all it takes is following my blueprint, which is X number of steps in order to achieve success. Now, whether you're new here, whether you're not, if you are someone who is self-employed, you likely know that getting your business started and growing that business to whatever level of income is your goal or whatever you've achieved so far, you likely know, or at least I hope you do, that it's not a simple X number of steps process. Like if I think back to me making my very first dollar as I became self-employed to where I am now, I cannot even if I spent a month sitting down trying to map it all out, it would be like 8,000 steps. There is no way that I could create a system where I could say, do X, Y, and Z, and you're going to end up where I am. I get so irritated, and we're only, 2 minutes and 30 seconds in, when anyone is trying to sell me a formula of, I did this, copy my X number of steps, 5 steps in this case, and you're going to achieve outcome ABC. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. I haven't even listened to what she had to say, and I can already tell you that it's probably BS. The process never changes. That's why all of Danielle's live stream subjects sound like clones. Exactly. They all want to sell you on the same frickin' formula, and it drives me crazy. Amazing. Aaron says, I'm in my 4th year, trying to make a profit this year. We love to see it. Although those tax returns can be pretty nice. I do miss those days. Exactly. Crystal says, on this week's episode of How to Convince People to Give You Money by Making Them Think That They Will Get Results, pay me money so I can convince you that I'm going to be able to teach you how to make money. And that's not to say that like people can't make an online course and say, here are the steps to starting a YouTube channel. It's when they guarantee a specific outcome as a result of those specific steps. Like many of you who have been here a long time and are very familiar with me and my content across all of the internet, I sell an online course. It's $27 and it teaches you the steps to start a business in Canada. I don't tell you you're going to be a millionaire if you start that business. I'm literally just telling you the steps you need to take. It's more of like a checklist. Here's step 1, here's step 2, here's step 3. Something like that, reasonable. It's reasonable for me to say, take my course and learn how to be an online trainer. As long as I'm not saying, take my course and learn how to be a millionaire online trainer. You know what I'm saying? Like when we start to quantify X number of steps is going to give you this specific result, to me, these people are lying. They have to be lying. There's no way. Love to see it. Red Door says, hello, everyone. Been listening. I wrote a report on the coaching industry for a psychology class. What was the conclusion of that report? Please share it with the class. Okay, let's continue. I'll stop yammering. I am going to speed her up because she does speak a little bit too slowly for my liking.
So I'm so excited to share them. They feel pretty obvious now that I have also created the 5 steps to 200K a few years ago. It feels a little bit like, how did I not see it? But that's sometimes what happens when you...
I did also want to add, that this particular woman, if you're not familiar with her, I believe has like 3 tiers of programs. So she has one that's like, it's called 2K for 2K. You pay $2,000, I think, and you learn how to make $2,000. Again, someone correct me if I'm wrong. Then she has a like mastermind where you learn how to make your next, or it costs $25,000 and you're going to learn how to make 200. I'm butchering this. I believe it's learn how to make $2,000, learn how to make $200,000, learn how to make $1 million. But again, please correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. I just want to kind of demonstrate that she has like different levels of mentorship that she tries to like move you through.
You're creating your body of work it takes a little bit of time to get there. And I'm always looking at every offer very holistically. I don't just necessarily match them up to mirror each other in any way, but this so happens that the $2 million group process and the 5 steps to becoming a millionaire just so happens to be very similar to the 200K process, but at a very different level. So let's dive in. So the 5 steps to becoming a millionaire, creating your first $1 million business or your next $1 million business. The first step is the scalable offer. So in 200K, I teach the simple offer. This is the scalable offer, and it is very different. And I will say this step isn't always the very first step when scaling, because you actually can scale an offer that isn't truly scalable. So I have a client right now in $2 million group who sees a path to $750,000 this current year in 2025. And that is just her current group offer. Like if she didn't change anything, $750,000 just in her current group offer.
But if she implemented just one more step, she would make $1 million.
And right now we're spending time talking through what that truly scalable offer will be.
Thank you, Joy. Joy said it's 2K for 2K, then there's a 200K mastermind, then there's a $2 million group. So that's kind of like, I assume the idea is she wants to recruit you as your 2K for 2K. Once you get success, then you move up into the $200,000 mastermind. And then once you get success there, you move on to the $2 million mastermind.
So what is a truly scalable offer? Because I know there's lots of definitions out in the world, but the one that I think is the most universal, if you asked other people as well, that have actually scaled their business to millions of dollars, it's an offer that you can have unlimited clients in that offer without having to change the delivery model or work more. So if 100 people or 1,000 people or 10,000 people buy, you have capacity to serve them and the engine doesn't change. These offers, your scalable offer, can be created in an hour. That is literally how long it took for me to create 2K for 2K. Or sometimes they require thoughtful consideration. And everybody's different. There is no one size fits all here. So what happens is with 2K for 2K, I kind of burned down my whole business. So nothing I was doing before I took with me on my millionaire journey. That's typically a little more rare than I see when students come to me, but that was my journey. We just weren't taking anything with me from the past. And so I had the luxury of thinking about my business from nothing, the ground up. I changed niches. I was working with network marketers and all entrepreneurs at the time. It wasn't really a set thing. And I moved into just coaching coaches, which is really what I'd always wanted to do.
This is so interesting to me. I'm going to be like a stalker here, but there have been instances on this channel where we have listened to this specific coach's podcast. We've read through her sales pages, and she has explicitly said in the past, I teach coaches how to build a 6-figure life coaching business. I am a 6-figure life coach. And to me, what she just said in that last sentence, I started out coaching business owners. I started out coaching in MLM. I started coaching. Where was the life coaching? I have always, again, if you've been here a long time, you know that I have speculated that this woman made 6 figures coaching other coaches. And to me, in my opinion, allegedly, she just outed herself for confirming what I have always believed to be true, that she does not have experience building a 6-figure life coaching business. She has experience building a 6 and now 7 coaches coaching coaches business. So thank you so much for confirming what I always believed to be true in the first place.
But then I never made an offer just for coaches. So we were able to think about it from a place of, if you want to bring coaches in, what's the largest group of people you want to serve? What's the foundational group you want to serve? What do you want to be like that first entry point into working with you? And when I thought of it that way, it's like, I want to help life coaches make their first $2,000. They're sign their first clients, become a paid coach. Like that's the first thing, is going from, I want to be a life coach to I'm a paid life coach. And so creating 2K for 2K didn't take a lot of time, because we just asked, like, what would it take if, what are the most important things someone would have to do in order to make that first $2,000?
Lucy asks, why would you want to coach coaches? I have an answer. It's called follow the money. If you want to get rich, the easiest way you're going to do it is to not actually offer a coaching service to regular people that might want coaching. It's to coach the other coaches on the idea that they could offer that actual service to people, because the service isn't really in as high demand as they want you to think. Coaching coaches is one thing, but being a coach who coaches coaches who coach coaches to coach coaches is real top of the pyramid. So true. But I guess she had her eye on that top spot for a very long time, based on her own words.
And it evolved over time, but really the main thesis has always been the same. It's like they're going to have to get out and talk to people and make offers and introduce the world to who they are and give value, and they're going to have to know how to sell and close on a consult. And that really became the beginning of the 2K process, and then it evolved into the 5 steps that it is after a few years that it is now. And then after marketing, selling, and delivering 2K for 2K for almost 7 months, 8 months, I then created the 200K Mastermind. And it was easy to do that because now I knew what the foundations were that I was teaching. And by then I had students who wanted to take it to an advanced level. And so I got to think from scratch about what I would teach them at an advanced level. But I have a lot of clients that come to me with small group programs with higher ticket prices. So maybe they're running groups of 10 or 20 people for anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000. But they've done this for a while. And this has become like their mainstay offer, not their foundational offer, but their mainstay offer. And so this is where they've created maybe their own process, their intellectual property, their body of work, and that offer is working. And so then we have to spend a little bit more time working through whether or not the work stays the same and the offer changes. So it becomes a bigger actual scalable offer, but you're teaching the same things, or does the work expand and become 2 more constrained sets of teachings and 2 more constrained offers based on more micro results that they help people create and how they envision the business evolving. And this is something very holistic that I do with each individual student right now, which is why I currently keep this group a little bit smaller. I really love to help people create that offer suite that is going to be their offer suite for the next X amount of years while they scale and eventually these offers should make millions of dollars. And so what we want to work towards is the goal of having a foundational offer and an...
Okay, but eventually these offers should make millions of dollars based on what? Based on like a market analysis, or just based purely on your desire to make millions of dollars? Because I could say, I think my content creation business should be $1 million business. But if I don't have the foundations and the actual like analytic trajectory to show that that should be the case, me just wanting something to happen is a lot different than like what's actually probable, right? That's what these people tend to forget. They just sell you on the idea that you can do anything you believe in without actually showing the proof of how likely it actually is to achieve that. Just saying.
Advanced offer. The foundation offer is an offer that is typically affordable to the masses and teaches the most important foundational steps of your work. Not always the beginning steps of your work, but foundational steps of your work. So it's not necessarily your beginner's course, because some people have memberships and they teach everything to their memberships. But if they were to think about what they're going to put in their membership content, it's going to be the foundational steps to whatever result they offer. So again, this can be a membership. It can be a program. 2K for 2K is a program. That's mine. Or it could be courses. Then the advanced offer is for the people who want their next level. So my offer suite, my foundational offer is 2K for 2K, and my advanced offers are 200K Mastermind and $2 million group. And now I have an additional offer that is the Entrepreneur Series, which are a series of mini courses that really anyone can join. So can you make millions of dollars just selling your face off with a bunch of offers that haven't been fully thought through? The answer is yes. I want to be very clear about that. Can you work 3 days a week, take lots of vacation time, eventually with a business like this? I didn't make my first million working 3 days a week, but I did transition to that around 2.5 million. Can you do that with lots and lots of offers? I don't think so. If it were possible, it would be extraordinarily much harder. Your delivery to your students would dramatically suffer. So just like the simple offer from the 200K Mastermind, when you put a lot of intention into your offers, a lot of thoughts, a lot of thinking ahead and creating a big vision for where you're going, the result you create in your body of work, if you put a lot of energy, a lot of time into that, a lot of thought into that, you don't just like pull the trigger really quick so that you can get an offer out into the world. If you really are intentional and you have that one scalable offer and that one advanced offer, scaling up your marketing, selling, and delivering just becomes a whole lot easier, because for every offer you have to create that business engine, that marketing, selling, and delivering engine. And so if you want to make more money, but also not have $1 million business that runs you into the ground and makes you never be able to take a vacation, the less offers you have that are actually taking you to $1 million, the easier your job becomes. And when you invest in creating a lower ticket, higher volume client offer, so like an offer that's anywhere from a couple $100s a month to a couple $1,000s for a year or lifetime access. But when you create that for a higher volume of clients, what you're also doing is creating a natural funnel to your advanced offers. So the energy eventually that you have, you want to put into a scalable offer. And I know it's hard for people to think about this, especially if you've been making a lot of money with a group offer that's selling for 10K a person. And you're like, but every time I launch, I make 100K from this offer. And if I do that 4 times a year, I'm at 400K. Why would I go and sell a $1,000 offer or a $2,000 offer? But it really is flipping. It's like to multiple 6 figures. You can do that. You want to do that. Whatever's the easiest to get there, I'm all for it. But to scale, you really want to create your lifelong client base your future client base. You want to have an offer that you can get as many people into as possible. It becomes all of your future client funnels. And also, you really want to be intentional and think it through and give it space and allow yourself to be patient with it because it's a very big decision.
So if anyone is in the chat and can let me know, otherwise I can look it up after, is 2K for 2K, it's not like a live coaching program then? It's just like an online course? Because for some reason I always thought it was like a mastermind sort of situation with live coaching. But maybe I was mistaken and it's actually just an online course. Because what I'm hearing is that if you want to become a millionaire, you have to create a scalable offer, meaning like something that sells on evergreen without you having to do anything. So an online course would be an example of that. You pre-record one of those fake webinars. You have it on your website. Anytime someone signs up, they can watch the webinar, and then it funnels them into the program that you're selling. So if anyone knows whether or not 2K for 2K is a live program or pre-recorded, please let me know. Lots of comments about the Bubba Cam. I know I'm very bad at marketing. Everyone watching this live stream now owes me $5 per person for access to this little cute, sweet baby. Erin is asking, can we pay for the Corgi Cam? Corgi's not allowed in here because she doesn't shut up. Maybe she'll make an appearance later if you ask nicely. 2K is a course with weekly live coaching. Okay, great. And is it done by Stacy or is it done by like one of her minions? Someone she hired, a coach that works under her. Let us know. Thank you for the intel.
It's where your business is headed for the next many years. It's where most of your intellectual property will be created. Most of your marketing will be geared towards. And it really is that offer that's made to help the most people. So this really isn't a time to throw things at the wall and see what sticks. That's 6 figures. Methodical, intentional, slow, calm, well thought out, well thought through. This is $1 million territory. So that is the scalable offer. And it has mostly to do with figuring out where your business is going, the vision you have, who you're going to help, and how you're going to help them at the foundational level.
Okay, I feel like she's on the cusp of saying something that is true. Like, if I want to scale a business, I have to have something that can grow without me having to physically do it. I don't disagree with that. However, she's kind of missing the key part of testing out different offers to figure out which one people actually want to buy. Like whether you're selling a product or a service, and again, those of you that have businesses can probably attest to this in the comments, there's a lot of sort of iteration that happens in the first few, like, I don't know, sometimes years that you're in business, where you're trialing different offers to figure out what the thing is that people actually want to spend money on before you can then figure out which one of those offers is then going to be scalable. Because I could think of a great idea that I could sell while I sleep and blah, 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 passive income. But if no one wants to buy that thing, then it's like there's definitely a period of time, whether it's 6 months to a year, where you're actually actively trialing different offers that require your time and effort to then figure out which one you'll be able to scale hands off.
And some people already come into the room having that, but many people that are at 6 figures are typically at 6 figures with smaller groups at higher prices. And so it just requires a little more work. It's not a problem at all. We make it happen. The next step is marketing at scale. So I talk about your 3-part business engine a lot. It's marketing, selling, and delivering. So those are the next 3 steps of the 5-step process. And I intentionally talk about it as marketing at scale versus scaling your marketing, because I really love at this level to reverse engineer. It's very important to think about where you want to be and get really clear on what that picture is, and then figure out what are the steps that I need in order to get there. It's just easier to build knowing what that clear picture is. So what I share with my students in my $2 million group is what the picture should look like when you have a business at scale already. When you're already at millions, this is what your marketing will look like or could look like. This is what your selling will look like. This is what your delivery should look like. And then we figure out for each individual person, it's a very similar process for every single person, but we figure that out on their timeline of what.
It's a very similar process for every person. And that is why every coach that I've ever coached looks very similar to what my coaching website looks like, looks very similar to their clients' websites, and that looks very similar to their clients' websites. And that's why if we take a look at the coaches pyramid, we're all using the exact same Squarespace template and words and verbiage on our website, because we're all just copying what worked for me, because if it worked for me, it'll work for you. And if you want to start a successful coaching business, all you have to do is just copy exactly what I did and put your name on it and your brand colors. And that's the secret to becoming a millionaire. So pay me $25,000 every 6 months. Exactly. Making a good online course is not something you can do in your sleep. And it's like, okay, so let's just say I spend weeks or months building this online course. Again, if I haven't tested that there's a market for me selling that online course, I just wasted all my time. You need to trial the offer, find the one that's building the most traction, and then double down on that. Speaking from experience, specifically in like the digital product space, so that includes online courses, there's a lot of like crappy, they weren't even crappy, but like ideas that I thought were really good. I put a lot of time into making these offers and I'd sell like 2. And I'm like, cool, wasting my time. But you have to do that in order to figure out what's that like golden ticket offer that's going to sell on autopilot and make you so much passive income. Passive income is not real, by the way. I'm being sarcastic, but we're missing step 1. And now step 2 is just copy my marketing and you'll be successful. Like, what is this? I get it's a podcast, so it's free, but it's like very not true. And it's making me upset.
But they have the capacity to learn, implement, how fast they grow skill sets. Everybody's kind of on their own timeline, but we all work towards that bigger vision of this is what the marketing should look like when you get there. And how you get there is how you'll be there. So this is also a big reason why we talk about it at scale versus how do I scale the current marketing I'm doing. That's not what we do in the $2 million group room. We don't take what you're currently doing at multiple 6 figures, not always, and just do more of it. A lot of times it's a whole different ballgame. It's a whole new car that you're building. It's a whole new support system in your business that you're building. So marketing at scale really consists of you building a reliable system for marketing, and it can be organically or through paid ads. So organically is typically if you are on any type of social media platform, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, but that is typically an organic strategy if you're really good at social media, or through paid ads. And to make millions, what's the most important about marketing is that you are consistently nurturing and bringing in new leads into your one scalable offer funnel. It's the most important achievement in marketing at scale. And this is really the challenge for multiple 6-figure earners who typically come to me, because they're either running ads already and feeling at the top of what they can do, or they are organic marketers and they don't have any more energy or a path that they think that they can take to go bigger. They don't see the pathway there. They're already doing the max of their capacity. And then some do see the path and they really just need support and expertise simply to just keep them moving towards it and energized and focus on the right things to get them there. And sometimes I get this too, where they are doing well in both ads and organic marketing, but they're all over the place and really extended with all of their marketing efforts. I have a marketing duo right now who are going to have their first $1 million year in 2025. And they came to me saying, we're really great at marketing and we do all the things, organic ads, but we're kind of all over the place and we have lots of ideas and we tend to commit to things and overextend ourselves. And we want you to just help us find the best, most essential paths and make the most of those and stay focused and stay constrained. So I do get that too. The key about marketing at scale that I think is true in all of these cases is energy is what is needed to go bigger in any area of business, really. But marketing is all energy. Like that's what it is. The energy you have to be more visible and the energy you bring to visibility, to your work. One of the biggest transformations for me on my $1 million journey was going from feeling overwhelmed at the idea, because I was one of those people that kind of was all over the place already, but at the idea of how to control the messaging that everyone gets when they're kind of coming from everywhere, all these different points into my quote unquote funnel, and knowing that they all get the message they need and have the same information coming to the program and capturing those leads. Like I just felt very overwhelmed by it. How do I know who's in my program and who knows what? And how do I make sure that they all get what they came for? And so one of the very first things that we learned in my $1 million mentoring was how to solve for that. How to have everyone coming in to the same place, receiving the same information, getting the same call to action, the same nurturing ongoing. And it was a game changer for my sanity. And it was one of the things that allowed me to feel like having 10,000 clients could be the same as having 1,000 clients. And it was really super simple. A few tweaks to your website, your social, your podcast, and you're there. So one of the things that I learned is a customer narrative. And this is something I teach in $2 Million Group in marketing, selling, and delivering, so that your customer's journey, everything they hear in your marketing, matches what they hear when you're selling, and then matches what they get when they deliver. And when all 3 of those things happen, you have a great customer experience. So learning a customer narrative at this level was hugely helpful. And it is still to this day. And after selling almost $40 million of coaching, it is still how my company operates.
But again, as far as I've been led to believe, people who don't have a positive experience with this particular coach's programs are not having a positive client experience. But beyond that, when they raise concerns about not getting what they paid for, they're basically told, too bad for you. You must have misunderstood what the offer was. That's not our problem. Like, again, please correct me in the comments, but anyone I've spoken to, I don't believe, unless I'm not recalling correctly, I don't believe anyone's been refunded for not receiving services promised. And to me, that's like a huge red flag from a customer service perspective. If I ever worked with a client and they told me, we are so unhappy with the product you delivered us or the offer that you gave us, I would give them a refund. Like, I don't know. It's just, I can't listen to this and not be skeptical when she's going on and on about positive client experience when I know I have directly spoken with clients who have not had a positive client experience. And I get like, no business is going to have a 100% satisfaction rate. That's not realistic. That's not what I'm suggesting here. I just think that the percentage of people who have maybe not gotten the results they expected or the results they were promised rather is quite high, or higher than an average business satisfaction rate, is what I've been led to believe. Again, this is all just alleged. Yeah, energy. Yet another tangible action step. Is this still all the first step? This is step 2. Step 1 is a scalable offer. Step 2 is master your marketing. And you're gonna master your marketing by having positive energy and believing in the thing that you're selling. Zip says, a true coaching podcast will tell you the number of steps at the start, and then at the end, you have no idea if any of the steps were covered by the episode. So true. So true. Oh my God. Yeah, I think it's a common, this comment says, if she was trained by the life coach school, it makes sense there would be no refunds. I think it's common across like all coaching, life coach school certified or not, specifically like all coaches who coach other coaches. Just because I've heard many horror stories of other people who have hired business coaches that also didn't get refunds that weren't LCS associated, but it's just like a trend in the online space in general of like, I don't care. You paid me. It's your fault. You didn't believe hard enough. You didn't try hard enough. You didn't insert verb here hard enough. Not my problem. No one wants to take accountability. So seems to be an ongoing theme from what I've heard, seen, and read.
How I teach my clients. So first we look at the customer narrative. That's their journey. And this is kind of a bigger concept, but I'm just kind of mentioning it here. And we optimize for everyone getting that same information so that your onboarding work becomes much easier. You can't worry about and be thinking about and be personally onboarding everybody that comes in your business at $1 million. And then if you don't have a working funnel, which is an evergreen, something that could be bringing in leads, serving leads, and selling leads, or customers, whatever you want to say, whatever you want to call them, if you don't have something that can create sales for you in your sleep, that's on your millionaires list to create one. A whole marketing and sales engine that someone could go through while you are on vacation, off work, having dinner, and still get the help that they want and need without you having to contribute to it. Now, that's not always right away in the $1 million journey, but that goes on. Like if you're marketing at scale, that is what's happening. So I can encourage you to go to if you've never made money as a life coach and you're listening to this and it's very interesting, but you're like, oh, how do I just need to get my first clients. Like I want to make $1 million one day, but how do I get my first clients? Then I can send you to stacybateman.com and you can click the button that says make money, or you can go to stacybateman.com/3-simple-steps and you can go into my marketing funnel and it gives you my free 5-day training where I teach you the 3 simple steps to make money as a life coach. And you can take that training and then you can go all the way through and it will offer you to join 2K for 2K and give you some fun incentives if you do it in a short amount of time. And so that is my way of being able to serve people, whether I'm working or not. They can take that training. It's very robust. It actually used to be in the 2K for 2K program. It might still be in the bonuses section, but it used to be in the introduction. Everybody had to go through that training. And it was the only way to get on my list. That is one of the ways that I made sure that the messaging was across the board the same. And I was able to really deliver a great experience because I didn't have people coming from all over the place into all these different marketing funnels. And it was just really easy to see what was happening in my business and control it with having such a simple business. But I didn't create that first real funnel until my second year into $1 Million Mentoring. So this isn't a like do this in 6 months, which is one of the reasons I created this to be a 12-month program at least, is because it takes some time to develop the assets and the skill sets required to create your first real funnel. And so I created mine in my second year. That's okay, not a problem. And it really was perfect timing for me. So this isn't, again, it's not a rush. I focused on what I call now special events marketing, which is creating live, webinars, challenge weeks, 5-day trainings, whatever you want to call them, but things that people can come to live and learn from me and then have the opportunity to join 2K for 2K. So a really firm launching model is what I did the first year while I was attempting to scale for my first time. That year I went from 325 to 860,000, but it took a big part of that year just to create my scalable offer and figure out what it was. And then I spent that first year launching it like 6 times, I think, trying new webinars, trainings, figuring out how to write emails and get people to buy via email, and just really figuring out the language of it. And that took time. You don't create perfect language for an offer and nail your marketing until you've talked to hundreds of people about your offer. You get them talking, you hear how it's coming out in their language, you figure out how you need to say it to them. I think we created my scalable offer 3 or 4 months into the year, and then it took me a couple of months to get it up and off the ground, and then I just started selling it like crazy. And then by January of that next year, after I had launched it 6 times and written hundreds of emails and talked to lots of people and got lots of no's, I created my first funnel unintentionally, really. It was just a 5-day training that I had created. And it went on to be so successful in that launch that we made it evergreen. And at that point, then I had the self-concept and the knowledge and the experience to even create an evergreen funnel. And it eventually went on to create millions of dollars. So this is why I feel so strongly, again, about the program being 1 year, because this isn't a quick action taking to increase revenue or sprinting to the finish line. A sprint to $1 million is really unsustainable. So this is more of a slowing down and building an engine to put in a car to then drive across the finish line.
A sprint to 1 million is unsustainable, but copying the formula that worked for me is absolutely sustainable because I said so. And I also have a mortgage to pay. So I need you to pay me money so I can afford that. And I'm going to get you to pay me by promising you that what worked for me will work for you. Because if I know anything about an online business, it's that if I started my coaching business back in the grift period of 2019 to 2021, it was a hell of a lot easier. But I'm not going to address that in the comments. You just got to believe me. If I did it all those years ago, you can do it now, even though the entire online landscape has since changed. And my business is actually in the decline based on the data study that I myself released last year. But that's neither here nor there. We're not here to talk about that. So anyone who says that my 5-step formula doesn't work is just a hater. So they need to get a life. It's me, guys. I need to get a life. Just ask this lady. Zip says, I've seen enough live streams on this channel that talking about specific dollar results is the biggest red flag for me. Ain't that the truth? You will be in her long haul. You will be in it for the long haul with her strategy, all right, because you won't ever get rich this way. I just the more I think about it, any of these large scale coaches, specifically the ones that really popped off in that period of time between maybe even 2018 to 2021, we'll say, it is so funny to me that they still go on and on and on and on about how now in 2025, you can copy what they did and still get the same results, because that is objectively not true. You might be able to be successful, sure, if you started tomorrow, but it's not going to be by following what worked for her 5 years ago. Just saying.
That's how it was explained to me when I went to $1 million, and it really clicked for me. I was very good at running very fast, and I was the fastest, and I would win all the races like that. And that's the imagery in my mind at multiple 6 figures. And then I had to slow down and learn how to build and then drive a car across the finish line. So it does take time. Also worth it. So it's launching and doing kind of special events marketing until you nail your messaging and your funnel. And then you focus really strongly on your funnel, and then you sprinkle in marketing events throughout the year for the people who don't buy in your funnel the first time they go through it. So that's where we're working towards. That's the goal. And in the program, we really reverse engineer each individual's business of what are the skill sets you currently have that will help you create this model, and then what are the ones you need to develop. And some of those take time, and there's no shortcut. You got to develop the skill sets that allow you to create this marketing engine. But then once you have it, you're marketing even when you're not working. It's fucking brilliant. So good. Okay, the next step, the third step, is selling at scale. So how are you selling? What is different about your selling? And what really creates a millionaire salesperson? Like, what is the difference between someone who makes $700K and $1 million? the difference really is how well they sell, hands down. I say this to people all the time. I'll read their sales page or their marketing emails, and I'll tell them the difference of hundreds of thousands of dollars is cleaning up these things happening in your communications. And so selling at the $1 million level, I want to be clear, is not something that you can market your way out of. Meaning, just get more leads. It's a numbers game. That kind of mentality or advice only takes you so far. And it will have you working double what you need to be working all of the time to compensate for not being really good at selling. So the less honed your sales skills are, the harder you will have to work, because the more people you will have to reach. So the more you will have to market. You'll have to be a marketing freaking machine every day. You will be thinking about your freaking marketing. Or you can get really good at selling. You can figure out the actual psychology and mechanics of selling, especially when it comes to the 7-figure level. And there really is a difference between selling at multiple 6 figures and selling at 7. I'm going to explain what it is here on this episode. But first, there are a few parts to selling at scale. The first one is knowing your client's PSPR. I have talked about this on multiple previous podcasts, so I'm not going to dive into PSPR here, but just know if this is the first episode you're ever listening to from me, it might not be the best first episode. But if you don't know what PSPR is yet, the short version is it's the language of your offer.
Yeah, I find this super interesting. Harrison is saying when the strategies don't work, it takes time. But when they do, it's because of this woman. I've seen this movie before. So true. And I find it super interesting that she is explicitly saying, like, my program is a year long because this is going to take you a year. When, again, who's to say? Who's to say that I don't blow up overnight? Maybe I go viral on TikTok and next thing you know, my coaching business is fully booked out. There is no formula of do these 5 steps and it will take this amount of time. And so it's so interesting to me as a business owner. Anytime I hear someone joining a like coaching program or container, as they like to call them, for an extended period of time. Like if I look at the evolution of my own business, and maybe some of you can speak to this in the comments as well. If I look at the evolution of my own business in terms of like where I was at a year ago, I don't think I could have predicted where I'm at now based on that. Like things change so quickly, but also so drastically that there's no saying, even if I had a plan of like in March of 2026, I want to have XYZ offers in my business and I want to do this and do that and do da 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 da. Just because I want it to happen doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to happen, specifically when you are like a one-man show. So if I am a coach offering coaching services, that's a lot different than having like a physical goods business where I have employees that work for me and I want to scale that business. The strategies there completely different. I'm saying if you are a solopreneur or you work on a very small team where you have just a handful of employees, I think it's very hard to predict like in 12 months, I'm going to be a millionaire because I follow these 5 steps and that's going to be the result. Like it just seems very unrealistic. But I think it's a manipulation tactic, allegedly in my opinion, to get people to sign up for a year-long mastermind by telling them, well, in 1 year, you'll have these results. And when you don't, it's because you need to sign up for another year.
And being able to articulate your value impeccably to your client. So that's the first part of selling at scale. Then there's overselling. That's creating demand for each of your offers for years to come every single time you show up to sell. Teaching your brain to think infinitely about the result you are creating every single time you show up to sell. It's staying fully in every sales cycle and not giving up and not quitting and not giving your all because one launch isn't going your way, but thinking about, I'm selling for this launch and the next launch and the next launch right now. It's really just showing up for a bigger mission and purpose. And then there's making sure every step of your customer's journey, the sales narrative, that you are answering what they need to know. Again, mastering that. Oh, sorry, let me go back. Then there's making sure at every step of your customer's journey that you are answering what they need to know, mastering the customer sales narrative, having everything, every link, anywhere and everywhere you direct people to working and going where you want it to go. I remember in the beginning, that was a big task. It felt like there were just so many things that could be not working, functioning properly. And I had already a strong aversion to technology. So just making sure anytime anything goes out is working and tested and is directing people where they're supposed to go. And there's not a 404 page. I mean, every once in a while still, things happen. But for the most part, at $1 million or $2 million or even $5 million, those coaches are typically not having those types of mistakes regularly. And then at the $1 million level, figuring out your unintentional sales pitch and the unintentional audience and who you are as the unintentional leader and salesperson speaking to your audience is one of the most important things you'll ever discover. So let me tell you what those things are. The unintentional sales pitch. That's all of your limiting beliefs about your offer seeping through your copy and your trainings. We always think that we're going to hide. our deepest thoughts, but we don't. They come out. I see them every day, all the time. We do audit calls in 200K and in $2 million group, and I'm always finding people's unintentional sales pitches. And a couple of examples of that is when you believe it's a lot of information that people need to learn from me, and it requires a huge commitment. So you're constantly selling how committed they need to be, or it's complicated, or it takes a long time, or I don't really believe they can do it quickly. Those type of things come out in the things you say when you're talking to your people.
You literally just said that. You literally said it's going to take a year, so my program is a year because you can't do it quickly. And now you're shitting on people that say it's going to take a long time. Which story is it, lady? Which story is it? I need to know. I'm asking for a friend because I've lost the plot and I'm really confused. Limiting beliefs. Bingo. Harrison says, imagine if you met actual demand as much as you focused on creating demand. Oh, you mean manipulating people into thinking they have a problem that they don't actually have? What a weird concept. I would much rather prefer to manipulate everyone. That's just way easier to get rich that way than to waste my time doing things that people actually need. Welcome, John Mark. I have not seen you in a long time. He's asking, what are you drinking? This is Pop Off. It is a prebiotic soda from Delta, BC. Delicious. Tasty. Available only in Canada right now, I think. Although you can order it online. So maybe they ship elsewhere. I don't know. I don't own it, so. Anyways, welcome back. Harrison also says, that is true. Histrionic delusion is a limiting belief that bleeds through her copy, allegedly, in my poor opinion. I'm just confused. It's like, why are you saying that your clients, my clients' websites say that it's going to be hard and it's going to take a long time. And yet 5 minutes ago, you literally said it's going to be hard and it's going to take a long time. So which story are we supposed to believe? I'm just really confused.
The unintentional audience are people who are not your best people to buy from you. They're not the people who are your buyers. They're people who are risk adverse. They're people who need convincing. They're people who want a quick fix, people who don't want it. So a lot of the convincing energy is selling to your non-ideal, non-best client. And then the unintentional leader and salesperson might be an example of this. Could be, I had a client in $2 million group who was on a webinar and her energy was all like, I'm just your best friend. I'm the girl next door. When her positioning didn't match that. She's actually selling expert level guidance to experts. So if you're selling expert level guidance to experts, you can't be their best friend as your girl next door because experts are looking for experts. They're looking for expert energy. So that's unintentional leadership. So within my client's copy, within their webinars, within their sales pages, within, when I say copy, I typically mean emails. I have found unintentional judgment, unintentional arguments and convincing, tones that are total turnoffs, anti-coach, hostility, trying to keep out the worst clients. Like all of these types of things cost conversions. And here's the
Anti-coach hostility. Can you take a look through my sales page, Stacy, if you're watching this, and let me know what you think of my website? Thanks.
deal. The problem isn't as evident at multiple six figures. You can be doing all of these things at multiple six figures and still make multiple six figures. And then they become exasperated at the $1 million level. Is that the right word? Exasperated?
Oh, Amy, thank you so much. Amy has gifted 5 Danielle Ryan memberships. And to that, I will say this.
Now you are one of us.
And also this.
You can buy status by just like spending money to be around these people and then just being a cool person.
You can spend money to be around cool people, aka people in the channel membership. And that's how you're going to get rich. So thank you so much, Amy. I really appreciate it. Be sure to utilize the Bubba emoji to your advantage now that you have access to it. And welcome to the membership.
They become very big and obvious at the $1 million level. And the reason why is going to make so much sense and also kind of going to blow your mind. At multiple six figures, your audience has more proximity to you. They have more personal touch from you. They are familiar with you. So when someone is familiar with you and they already have a positive bias towards you and personal touch from you and proximity, they are more likely to be sold by you on you before they even read your emails because of that confirmation bias. They overlook the ick of some of these sales communications because they already just have a strong relationship with you. So they either don't read it with a skeptical eye and don't receive the thing you said in that way, or they just don't see it at all, or they didn't even need to read it because they weren't reading your emails, or they didn't come to the webinar and they still bought because they know you. But when you first start scaling, you start attracting an audience that is less familiar, more skeptical, and has less proximity to you. You can't do consults to $1 million. So your sales and marketing become the only impression they have of you. The emails, the webinars, the marketing funnel that you put together, your social media, your online imprint may be the only proximity they have to you.
Why is she acting like this is revolutionary? Maybe I'm missing something, but to me, I'm like, this is just business. Obviously, if I want to scale my business from what's a reasonable amount of work that I can do as an individual, I'm going to have to put things on autopilot. Like, do you think Lululemon is out here in the streets recruiting individual customers to come into their store? No. They're using marketing and ads like thousands of companies have done for hundreds of years probably at this point. Like, what is she saying? It's like, guys, I actually came up with this really brilliant idea. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's called running a Facebook ad, where you can get people who don't know you to see a product or service that you sell. Can you believe it? Can you guys believe in this day and age, 2025, you can pay Meta to show your offer to people who do not know you exist? They're calling it advertising? Weird, new, brand new concept. I just invented it. You should join my mastermind and I will teach you other incredibly revolutionary tips just like this one. So stay tuned.
So now it really matters. And I know that people get very stuck. It doesn't actually matter what type of value you give.
Me too, Aaron. Aaron says, I'm on so many email lists these days. I just select all and delete. Gmail actually has a feature now that will automatically unsubscribe you from ones you haven't opened in a while. So you should check that out.
People, what type of sequence you give people of value, the email templates you learn and the email structures you learn. None of that matters. You can learn all the best marketing techniques about emails and webinars and learn the best methods. This bleeds through it all. You can't hide it. Doesn't matter how perfect the quote unquote format of the pitch is. You can't hide it. You have to grow your skill set in this way of being able to identify your unintentional sales pitch and unintentional audience you're speaking to and the unintentional person you're being while you're speaking to them. You have to figure this out. And then everything gets easier when you're able to speak to that person who has no proximity and no personal touch from you and is less familiar with you. Maybe they just found you in the middle of the night with an ad or stumbled on a live stream you did on social media, or someone sent a post of yours and they don't know you at all. And they go to your link tree in your social media and they click on your free thing that you offer them and they start going through your funnel. When your unintentional sales pitch is cleaned up and your PSPR is nailed, you really start making a lot of freaking money.
I'm just confused. I'm confused as to why someone who, I'm assuming based on what she has said, the target client for this episode is someone who already makes multiple six figures and wants to scale to $1 million. If a person running a multiple six-figure business doesn't understand that paid ads will introduce you to an audience who doesn't know you, how did you reach multiple six figures? I have many questions. I would like to talk to you, please. And I mean this sincerely, because I don't run $1 million business or even like a multiple six-figure a year business. And even I understand how paid ads work and that they're going to show me to an audience that doesn't already know me. Like, I can't get over this. It's crazy. This is crazy. Amy donated $5. She says, donation goes towards Bubba's Barber Fund and the Corgi Wiggle Butt Dancing. Thank you so much. Bubba has a haircut scheduled in 2 weeks. He's going to be looking so handsome. He's getting into that phase where his hair is so long I can't see his eyes anymore. So I love that. Thank you so much. To this donation, I will say this.
It's not a pyramid scheme. It's not even a scheme per se.
The channel membership is not a pyramid scheme, but if you are interested in joining, you can click the join button down below. Thank you so much, Amy. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Crystal says, just joined in now. Happy to be here. I've appreciated all your videos over this past year. Much respect. And to this, I will say hello. And this is my advice for you.
Take trips. Post on Instagram. Buy a cool car. Post on Instagram. Get your Instagram popping.
Get your Instagram popping. Post on Instagram. That's the secret to success. And welcome to the channel. Hillary says, I'm guessing the target audience is people who charge $10,000 plus per client. So they've become multiple six-figure earners, only working with a handful of clients and spending most of it on coaching. Fair enough. But do you think that those people don't understand how paid ads work? That's the question I need to know. Because my mind has been blown here, guys. Blown.
Even if you do have a smaller audience, it's just the people that come your way. I've always made millions of dollars with a smaller audience compared to industry standards, I would say. And a lot of my colleagues and people that I know that I have a much smaller audience, but I make use of every single person that comes my way. And it allows me to not have to be marketing all of the time and not have to be on social media all of the time and not having to be spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on ads all of the time. It's the most, in my opinion, the most important step. If I only taught one thing, it would probably be selling. And then the fourth step is delivering at scale. And delivering at scale has a few components, and some of them...
Wait. I want to go back. If I only taught one thing, it would be selling. We can tell, based on the conversations, again, that I've had with people who are allegedly past clients of hers, I can tell that you only focus on selling because program delivery might not be your strength. Just saying.
Are emotional. We're going to talk about that next week, holding space for larger groups of people. But when we talk about delivering at scale, one of the most important things is the customer narrative. It is making sure that everything you've sold them is in the delivery of what you give them. This is the fastest way and best way to make people happy when they work with you. But then there's also learning how to get, no matter how many people you have in your scalable offer, learning how to get them all results. The fourth step is delivering at scale. And there are a few components to this, but one of the most important is that customer narrative and your company's timeline. It's making sure everything you say in your marketing and your selling gets delivered to the client. It's the fastest way to create really positive word of mouth. I will tell you that one of the ways that I scaled the absolute fastest was not my funnel in the beginning. It was not some fancy marketing method. It was word of mouth. I recently even, I think 6 months ago, asked my 2K for 2K community where people found me. I was genuinely curious. Did you find me from the podcast, from ads, from, the social media? And the predominant resounding overall answer was referral. That happens when clients are happy. That happens when you have an amazing client experience where everything you expected to get, you get. And that's not just in the content they get. It's in the coaching that they get. It's making sure that the coach I engaged with and met in marketing and who sold to them is the same that delivers to them. You coach the same way that you market and sell. Your voice is the same, but it's also in communities. This is a really big thing for me. I've spent a lot of time and a lot of deep intention and spent a lot of money on coaching, on running communities. And I have different, unique, sometimes contrary rules to my community. One of them is that I don't let people just talk about anything and everything. We don't have political discussions. We don't have the things that you would see in your news feed, lots of negativity and complaining. We don't have that. It's not a general life coaching community where you can
no complaining. So if you don't like the coaching you're receiving, you're out. We don't have time for negativity in our community, guys. So if you have qualms, complaints, you're not satisfied with your service, this is not the space for you. Happy people only who want to pump my tires and tell me how good of a coach I am. That's all that's allowed here.
Post anything. It's not even a general business coaching community. We only allow posts that fall within our 2K for 2K process. And the reason would really shock you. It's actually not about trying to drive a conversation or make things look a certain way. It's that when I market 2K for 2K and when I sell and I tell people, here's what you're going to learn in 2K for 2K and here's what we're doing and here's the result you're creating. When they buy in the middle of the night, when I'm fast asleep and not available and haven't been available for the last 6 hours to moderate my Facebook community, when they join that group, the first 5 to 7 posts tell them if they made the right decision, if they're in the right place. So we want them to see 2K conversations, things that are relevant to them. We want every post they scroll past to be valuable to them. We want them to be like, "Ooh, I got to get out of here. I could spend all day learning from just these posts."
We want to create what some might call a cult-like environment wherein no one is allowed to question the teachings. Instead, they must embody the teachings by being surrounded by the teachings and only the teachings, and only positive thoughts about the teachings, so that when they get indoctrinated, sign up for our program, they feel like they're part of the family, and they know that they belong, and they are not led to believe that somebody might have been unhappy with our past services rendered, and instead, they only believe in the positive vibes that are presented to them and curated specifically to get them to believe. As Aaron has said here, toxic positivity is in, negative feedback, get out.
That's the vibe that we're looking for. And because of that, people tell me routinely, even though there are specific rules garnering what you can post and what we allow, people tell me consistently it's their favorite space on the internet. I call it the business. I've been referring to it as the business spa recently, where I tell people, it's if you go to the spa or hot yoga and they have rules like you can't have cell phones because you're in a space where everybody's trying to be very calm and mindful and peaceful. And I think of my 2K for 2K community, or even my 200K mastermind or my $2 million group, all of my communities are places where people can come no matter what's happening in the world, no matter what's going on their news feeds. They can come in and just focus on their business. Even if they feel like, oh, there's shit going down in the world and I feel guilty for selling in my business and I shouldn't be selling in my business. They find solace, is that the word I'm looking for? They find reprieve by coming into the 2K community and seeing so many people focused on their business no matter what, figuring out how to sell in every environment, like showing up and being committed more to the infinite game of their business than whatever is happening always at all times in the world. And they don't see a lot of complaining. They don't see a lot of negativity about the coaching industry. We don't allow that stuff, like doomsday industry posts. We don't allow that. They just see people asking and getting help from the 2K process. So it's highly valuable and it tells them I'm in the right place. I made the right decision. So if I see a post and it doesn't align with someone saying I made the right decision, I'm in the right place, I delete it. It's out of there. Now, it doesn't mean that like my students can't.
If I see a post, hold on, I want to listen to that again.
Them, I'm in the right place. I made the right decision. So if I see a post and it doesn't align with someone saying I made the right decision, I'm in the right place, I delete it. It's out.
If I see a post that doesn't align with I'm in the right place, I made the right decision, tell me you are creating an echo chamber without telling me you are creating an echo chamber. Can you imagine if on every single one of my YouTube videos, I deleted any comment that didn't agree with what I said in that YouTube video? What kind of environment I would be creating? This is crazy to me for her to say this with such conviction, like this is something normal. If people aren't putting positive things and telling me how great I am and how great my program is, I delete their comment because we cannot have constructive feedback. This is not the place. If you want to criticize me, you have to do it in the private of my email inbox where I'm able to delete your email and never reply to you. Just saying. Exactly. I love when they say the quiet part out loud. That's exactly how I'm hearing this. Maybe I'm biased and I'm reading into something that isn't here, but to me, it sounds like she's creating an echo chamber and she's not allowing people to leave any kind of constructive feedback or ask questions if they don't get something or don't agree with something. Because we don't need that negative hater energy around here, guys. Yeah, you don't want to create the North Korea of YouTube. You know what? After listening to this episode, I think I'm going to take her strategy and implement it. Echo chamber only, guys. So if you have negative things to say about me, don't, because I'm just going to delete it anyway. Like, hello, lady, are you listening to yourself?
Out of there. Now, it doesn't mean that like my students can't, have a bad day. Like we talk, like that's the work, right? Of any community is coming and posting when you're having a really hard time, but it's purposeful, useful communications and conversations towards the result I'm working towards and teaching. And that is so important. I don't see a lot of people at this level putting that much intention into it, but I do believe that the way I run my communities, the way I deliver my offer, the value that I give, part of the delivering at scale is really figuring out how to over deliver, no matter how many people come into your program. All of that creates this irresistible referral network that people they can't help themselves. They're so excited to tell everyone they know about you.
I would love to talk to people. Having listened to this episode now, I would love to talk to people again who have been in her programs to know what the feedback collection process is like. If I am dissatisfied, what's the right word? Dissatisfied. If I am dissatisfied, English isn't my strong suit. If I'm dissatisfied with the service that I receive and I'm not allowed to post about it in our private community, where am I able to give that feedback? Am I given the opportunity to give that feedback, or do I just have to send an email and hope that someone reads it? I would love to know how that works. If anyone has intel, please let me know. You can comment or you can message me on Instagram.
So really nailing that customer narrative and you figuring out how to make sure everything you promise is exactly what you deliver, exactly what they expect, and exactly what will help them create the result they want is a huge part of delivering at the scale level. There's also a fine art to learning how to over-deliver without adding a ton of crap, without having to say every time I add people, I've got to add more things. One of the things that's also been so profound about my foundational scalable offer, which 2K for 2K is really my only scalable offer. It's the only offer I have that I can add unlimited people and everybody's experience stays the same. And the genius of that offer is that I don't pack a ton of crap in the program. It's not like course after course. The magic of this program and the reason people have gotten such good results, so many results, the reason it's so many people, thousands of people have been so successful with this program is it stays constrained to only the most simple, basic, doable things that you need to do to make your first $2,000 and all the way up to your next $20,000 in your business. The 5-step process. There are a few bonus courses in there, but they're very specific to learning how to market and sell, like higher converting consults, which is a big deep dive into specific things that can go wrong on a consult that didn't fit in the 2K process, or Offer Week, which is a deep dive into the irresistible offer protocol and really selling people on a much deeper level or coaching people on a much deeper level on how to create a really irresistible offer that they feel powerful and confident to sell. And even though I have a module in the 2K process that covers the free offer and the paid offer, having that week-long training has been really helpful for my students. So everything is just very constrained. And that's one of the things I see that is a challenge for a lot of people is they just want to give everything to everyone in order to create value and to say they're over-delivering. Or they want to over-deliver, so they want to add a bunch of like personal delivery things that will eat up your time, like Voxer coaching and email coaching and personalized note-taking and all of these things that you need that time to be working on your marketing.
Or you need that time to be on the beach sipping margaritas because remember, we only work 2 days a week. And if you're wasting your time actually delivering a service to your clients that are paying you, you're a chump because around here, we work for vibes only. We don't work for actual like exchanging a service. You're just supposed to pay me money so I can enjoy my life. Like, what?
At scale and you're selling at scale, like you need that time back. So you can't be doing that. In fact, we're going to talk about $1 Million Self-Concept next, but one of the parts of the $1 Million Self-Concept is learning how to unbind yourself from your business and learning how to look at what are the things I do over and over that I could think very deeply about how to create a resource or an asset and teach people how I think, which is how I created the consultation code. Is it the consultation code? I call it the consult code, but I'm pretty sure it's the consultation code inside 2K for 2K. I taught everybody in that book how I think about consults and how I evaluate them. And then I provided so many examples that people say when they read that book, they feel like they got like a master's in learning how to sell on consults. And I spent I think 64 hours creating that asset, but it's the asset that is the most asked about and most loved of my entire 2K for 2K program. People say that they would literally pay 2K just for that book. And so that's part of delivering and $1 Million Self-Concept is I'm not going to over deliver by adding a bunch of me or adding so much stuff that people can't get through the program because they're inundated with long modules and too many steps in a process and all the extra curriculum, but creating just what they need to be highly effective and then creating assets that support their journey without you having to personally do it. That is delivering at scale. I like to think of it as everyone gets results without you being driven crazy. Without you, like I remember at multiple 6 figures, like I would be responding to all my clients no matter what time of night it was. It's like if someone posted in the group, they were very dependent on me responding in order to get what they needed, but I didn't have results or I didn't have resources. I didn't have assets. I didn't have things that were very thought out that taught them how to think like me so that they didn't need me thinking for them. This is part of also, we're going to talk about the $1 Million Self-Concept in a minute, but I really do believe that there is a piece about the delivering that when you are at scale, it should never, the balance of value should never be on you. So it never should feel like you are making all this money and people are getting less value. It should always feel like the more money you make, it requires you to create more intentional value. It requires you to teach people be better at teaching people, teach people more impeccably and clearly how you think and help them develop their skill sets on their own so they just become the skill set. They have it in them. They don't need you to do it. It's like you could give people the fish. Isn't there the saying you could give people the fish, you could teach them how to fish? You got to teach people how to fish when you're delivering at scale. You got to show them how to do it without you needing to. And then
Oh my God, the irony of this, because anyone who has watched any amount of coaching content knows that this is not what happens. At least not what I've seen. What I see is the more money coaches charge you, the more they're just charging you for you to be able to sit in their energy and be in the vibe and be in proximity to the successful people that you want to embody. Bullshit. I call bullshit on this. If you're paying me more money, I'm probably doing less work. Saying that as like what I've seen in coaching. If someone's had an opposite experience, again, please share it in the comments. Did you pay someone more money and actually receive more help? Because from what I've heard, and again, I've only ever made, the highest investment I ever made was $4,500. But I'm talking once you start paying $25,000, $50,000, $100,000, I've heard it's a lot more hands off. And these people treat you like your friends and you're just like chit-chatting on calls and stuff. Like, no. Charging more while adding more value? Perish the thought. Exactly.
when you pop in, then it's just the icing on the cake. And then this kind of falls between selling at scale and delivering at scale. But there's a fine line when you're selling. One of the big things going from multiple six figures to 7 that also matters when you have an audience that's less familiar with you and not just buying because they love you. You also have to get really good at figuring out how to teach the what and the why of your work, but not the how in your marketing and in your selling. And then you have to get really good at actually teaching the how very succinctly in your delivery. And these are things that I've broken down for my students, and it's really cleaned things up and blown their mind of like, oh, I see what I'm doing here. There's a response in people where they're not able to buy if you teach them the how. And like if you're teaching them the how, they just get overwhelmed and confused, and it creates more questions than answers. But when you're actually just telling them the what and the why they need to do it, then they're able to create a lot of hope, and then they're really excited to move forward. But in the delivering then, you actually have to be able to teach the how. And there's been a lot of people who have kept that same thing where they're like, oh, well, when they buy, what else am I going to teach them? That's either because you haven't figured out actually how to teach the how, or you're teaching everything up front. And there is that like, I don't know what comes next. And so,
or you don't actually have the skills or experience that you're trying to sell people on. I think I just read this in the subreddit the other day. I'll see if I can find it after this. Somebody was saying that this particular coach is notorious for telling people to charge $5,000 despite having zero experience. She'll say, raise your prices without a reason as to why you should raise your prices other than you want to make more money. So maybe the issue is that the person doesn't actually have the skill set to sell something that scales to $1 million or multiple millions of dollars versus it being like a limiting belief or them giving away too much value for too low of a price. Maybe they're actually not qualified to be making $1 million because newsflash, not everyone in the world deserves or should be a millionaire or can offer a service that is worth $1 million. I'm just saying. I don't know if that's a hot take, but that's my opinion.
that fine line is very important going to millions of dollars. So for me, everybody gets what they came for. Better, faster results for everyone. We're about to talk about that. It has a lot to do with delivering at scale, but I think the fifth step is the $1 million self-concept. And I really believe that this is a large part self-concept. And then there's the action and the actually doing that becomes delivering at scale. But the fifth step is the $1 million self-concept. And this is the single most important self-concept I had to create to my first $1 million, was that I could produce better, faster results in the one-to-many model, meaning I'm the one and I'm teaching to the many. That delivery concept was one of the biggest ones that took me to $1 million. And here's why. I loved one-on-one coaching and small group coaching. And I felt it was very important that my clients got results. I still believe that hasn't changed, but at the time, it felt like one-on-one was the best delivery to do that. That had always been a value of my business, and it just really hung me up when thinking of starting a program. I had no desire to start a program. I had so much proximity to all of my clients. They'd all become my good friends. Many of them were in my wedding party. And I just didn't see how I could enjoy a business where I didn't have that type of proximity with people. And I truly believed that the more people I added to my program, to my scalable offer, the less results they would get. And I believe this was like 100% true. I couldn't have even seen a window where that could have been different. But I decided to explore how I was wrong and how, if it was possible, that my clients could actually get better, faster results the more people that were there. And exploring how that could be true, just deciding it could be true, and if it were true, how would it be true? That decision became one of the most important ones I ever made. And it's now what I teach called my scaling equation. And the scaling equation is more people, more revenue, so you increase your revenue by working with more people, and those people get better, faster results. And this happens in less time than you currently work at multiple six figures. Which is, by the way, I know I've talked about this before on my MiLLioNaiRe podcast, but one of the best things about having $1 million business and doing all of this work is you do create an engine that can kind of run without you. And so you're not working as many hours and having to be on as often as you are at multiple six figures. Like I never worked harder than at multiple six figures. So the reason this is part delivery and part self-concept is that believing you're the person who can figure this equation out, I think the more you believe it and the further you do actually figure out the equation, it unlocks higher levels of revenue. So the more you believe it, the more results you create in alignment with it, the safer and the more, moral, ethical that you feel selling to more people. And as I have coached over the years, thousands of coaches, literally, I think I have right now about 7,000 clients. And so I have coached a lot of coaches over the year. And I see this, it may not be your hang up, but I see this as one of the biggest hang ups for coaches. Our coach heart wants to help. It's less interested in becoming a corporate giant. But we also want to reach our highest potential. And especially for those of you listening who are women, we want to become the top 0.045%. Did you know that's the percent of American women who make $1 million a year? I don't know what the percent is on the world. I bet it's less. It's like 0.045% who make $1 million a year.
Yeah, I bet it's less because every other... Oh my God, tell me you know nothing about global economics without telling me. I'm sorry. I'm not even going to touch this one.
I remember reading that number one year at the Life Coach School Mastermind, along with 0.0049% of women who make $10 million a year. That was the year I had actually just received that award. And it was astounding to me. Like, this was a life-changing moment to see those stats and see that I had become those stats. So I think we want this. I think we want to do something so rare and so big that it becomes generationally changing. Like, my husband and I talk about this all the time, that we have changed the generation of our family. Like, from here on out, our children will live such different lives than the generations before us on both sides of our family. Like, that is deep purpose in one lifetime. And so I think that we really want it. But it's got to be a way that feels in alignment with our core values. And I think becoming the person who masters the scaling equation is how we do it. I have walked people through this over and over. And when you can figure out how to get your clients better, faster results, the more people you work with, the faster you will grow. And I will tell you, it's so crazy because I remember what a difficult transition this was. And it's so crazy to look at people who buy my program now. Maybe they join 2K in the middle of the night. I have never met them. I've never coached them. I've never talked to them. Like, they could be brand new in the program, and to see them post, I made my money back, or I've had people pop in and say like, oh, I made 100K with this program, and they've never even asked for coaching on the live calls before. And I'm like, whoa, who is this person? What? This is amazing.
And you're going to take credit. This comes back to Harrison's comment earlier where he had said, if you don't get results, it's because you just need more time. And if you do get results, I get to take full credit for them. That's the same vibe I'm getting here of like, someone joined my program in the middle of the night and in a day they already made back their money. It's like, okay, but is that a result of your program? Because my assumption is, if we follow your logic where you say this takes time, how likely is it that I join your program and within a week, 2 weeks, even a month, I'm getting a return on my investment? Probably not very high, because it takes time to implement and try new things and actually see those results, right? Like, am I losing my mind? Is there something I don't understand? Because this doesn't make sense to me.
Amazing. None of my one-on-one clients ever got results like that. That's like the craziest thing for me to think about. People had the most insane proximity to me. Like, I would spend every week with them for an hour and sometimes do in-person coaching days with them or coaching weekends or VIP events. And it wasn't until I created my foundational offer and 200K mastermind and $2 million group, and I created my intellectual property and I worked on scaling my scalable offer and then marketing, selling, and delivering those offers, that people started getting results like crazy. And the more people that join 2K, the better I get at coaching. There's so many reasons for this. I really break it down in $2 million group, but the more people that join, the more battle tested my work becomes. The clearer it becomes, the more actionable it becomes, the more different types of people,
the more people that join my program, the more millions of dollars I make. Now I am so rich, I don't even care if people get results or not, because that's not my problem. My bank account says otherwise. Baby girl! Bluetooth is here, but she does not want to come. She is camera shy. Bluetooth. Okay, Pablo will bring her for a second. Hi, sweetie baby. Hi, sweetie baby. Oh, she get chunky. This is my baby girl. My baby corgi. A little break. What do you have to say to the class? Yeah? Look at your baby Bubba. He's a so sleepy guy. Okay, I'll give you back. I'll give you back 3 stick chunky. I'll see you later. Have a good day. Okay, back to the bullshit.
Diversity we have, then the more, not approachable, but the more it like applies to more people. In the beginning, it didn't, the process and the way I taught it applied to people who were like me. But now I've had so many people that are different than me, and they think about the world differently, and they have different life experiences, and they have different types of businesses, and they sell differently, and they live different places in the world. My work has become more widely able to be used. I'm not finding the right words right now. We're a little sick in my household, but it becomes more widely used because it's more applicable. That was the word. It becomes more widely applicable. It's gotten better and better the more people who have come in to test it. And so I really think that is it. When you can figure out how to get your people better, faster results, the more people are in there, the more money you're going to make.
Wait, so is she saying that she just brings people into her program and just like figures it out on the fly? Because that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing, I don't really know what I'm doing, so I just get people to pay me and then I kind of figure it out as they come in and I hopefully get them results. But if I don't, remember, it's their fault, not mine.
But then when we think about self-concept and you being an emerging leader, that is, you really are like stepping into leadership territory in the $1 million level, you also have to grow your emotional capacity in many ways. And I'm actually going to do an entire episode next week about the emotional capacities of millionaires. But signing up to go to $1 million is actually signing up.
The emotional capacities of millionaires. Get the... This could be a whole other conversation for another day, but the perception that people have of like what characteristics all millionaires have is bullshit. You cannot classify an entire group of people based on any characteristic. I can't say all millionaires are XYZ, or all poor people are XYZ, or all YouTubers are XYZ. Like, just because you have a certain characteristic in common does not by default make you a specific way that then applies to all people within that category. Like, that doesn't physically make sense. I can't say all women are the same because we're women. Like, I haven't even listened to that podcast episode and I already don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
For a much bigger leadership task than I think a lot of people expect. It requires deeper regulation skills, a wider emotional range, and having a bigger capacity in general to feel really hard things. And then the final element to your $1 million self-concept, and the fifth step, is the actual transition from 6 to 7 figures. And it's really switching from hunter's mindset to farmer's mindset. It's no longer about the quick kill, the quick infusion of cash, but creating a lush garden to keep growing carrots even when you're asleep. And that takes constraint, emotional maturity, thinking bigger and further ahead. And it really requires stepping out of 6-figure mindset and into how 7-figure earners think. Instead of solving something quick, it's solving something as if you never ever wanted to have to solve it again because you solved such the root issue of it. It's thinking of the work that you do daily. And again, I mentioned this earlier, but how to unbind yourself from it using resources and assets that you create, standard operating procedures, organization, and other people that you hire and the help that you bring on. Those type of things create a business that can thrive whether your finger is on the pulse of it every second or not. Okay, so these are the 5 steps to creating a $1 million business and becoming a millionaire. The scalable offer, marketing at scale, selling at scale, delivering at scale, and the $1 million self-concept. It is not for the faint of heart, y'all. It's a very small percentage of people who actually do it. But $2 million group is for those of you wild enough to try. And beyond that, I truly, if you're willing to try, if you're willing to shoot, if you're willing to believe you could do it, beyond that, it just requires commitment from there and learning these skills. Learning these skills gave me back so much time in my life and my business. It was a big investment. I personally stuck with this process, was a very similar process that I followed to millions of dollars, and I stuck with it for 3 years. The same process over and over, getting better and better.
Guys, can you believe it? 3 whole years. It's so long. Oh my God. Poor thing.
And now I work mostly 3 days a week and have a multi-million-dollar business and a really great work-life balance. Been able to have a child while having a $1 million business. I've been able to travel. I've done some really incredible trips. I've taken time off. So it's not just being there, but it's being there how you want to be there. How it will be the most inspiring and sustainable for you and your family. Businesses don't have to run you into the ground. I am entering my 10th year, y'all. 10 years. I'm just getting started. Come with me. Enrollment starts January 21st. That's a Tuesday. This January 21st.
Blah, blah, blah. Don't care. Don't care. Okay. Gonna switch here for a second. I'm going to see if I can find the thread, the Reddit thread I was talking about earlier, where someone asked, like, what was your experience in 2K for 2K? Literally, I think like yesterday in the Life Coach Snark subreddit. So some of you might have seen it. Here we go. Here we are. What did you actually learn in 2K for 2K? So that is her entry level program. So the one you would find in a Facebook ad. I learned how to not listen to people like this coach. I learned what cult followers are like firsthand. Again, 2K for 2K is the program where she said she deletes comments that don't support the mission, that aren't positive. So it would make sense that if you join that, you might feel like, holy shit, am I in an echo chamber? Because there's no negative feedback here. I learned more discernment for myself. Overall, I got my 2K out of it for the simple facts from above, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I thought the comment was here. But maybe I read it somewhere else. I learned I didn't want to do sales or marketing. I knew the group wasn't for me. Here we go. When she coached someone to triple her prices who had no experience. I'm sorry, but it is just a scam to tell someone that if they pay you $5,000, you can help them when you have no training or evidence of that. And I think that this is something that is perpetuated by the entire coaching industry. I don't want to say that this is just like a Stacey Bayman problem because it's not. I see it in literally most of the coaches programs that I look at. So many of these people are willing to lie about where they started, what experience they have, what results they're able to help you achieve with no tangible evidence to prove whether or not they can get you those results. I need to go look through the group. I don't know if Stacy still does, but she also used to heavily push people into investing into 200K as much as possible. Just like I said, you start in 2K. She then wants you to join her 6-month 200K mastermind. And then the idea is that you'll move into the millionaire one. I remember a couple posts talking about how much it's costing you to not be in the room. Again, common manipulation tactic that we see in the coaching industry. You need to invest in yourself in order to be successful. The longer you wait on this investment, the more opportunity you're missing out to make the money back, blah, 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 blah. It's all marketing manipulation tactics, allegedly, in my opinion. This is when 200K was $50,000 a year, and anyone who has been in 2K know most people in there aren't signing clients or making money. Okay. I wanted to share that just because I thought it was interesting. And like this podcast episode was sent to me probably 2 months ago now. I just got around to listening to it. So it's funny the timing on that someone was asking in the Reddit thread. Let me catch up on the comments. And then there was one more thing I wanted to look at because again, this was shared in the subreddit and it gave me a little laugh. So I thought we would have a look at it together. Okay. I stuck with it for 3 years, so you should pay me for 5 or however long it takes you. Honestly, that's the vibe. That's the vibe here. Pay me money and I will promise to make you believe that I can teach you how to make money. Oh, God. These so-called coaches are all just after views, money, clout, and desperate people online who can't get over themselves. I think the saddest part is like most of the people who we talk about on this channel are specifically targeting people who are desperate to learn the secret, to crack the code. And so I can definitely see how someone might listen to this podcast episode, for example, that we just listened to, and not know any better, not have an understanding of how business works, and actually think that like, oh, this woman knows what she's talking about. Maybe if I pay her, I will also be successful. And so it's really sad to see how people fall for this. And I say that as someone who has fallen for one of these because I didn't know better. And now I just look back like, oh, dumb. But it's not dumb. I'm saying if you fall for this, you're not stupid. You just don't know what you don't know. Yeah. How much money is it costing you to not pay me? Exactly. If you pay 2K to get into 2K, don't you still end up with 0? Even if you make your money back, you only broke even. That is true. So true. So true.
It sounds like a get-rich-quick scheme.
Yes, thank you. You will get rich quick. We all will.
We're all going to get rich. Okay. Changing gears a little bit. We're still looking at the same person. Her website is terrible, though. I thought this was funny. So a number of months ago, maybe November, October, I did a video about this whole soft girl coaching movement that I was seeing. Specifically, I was noticing a handful of coaches that I have followed for quite some time who were definitely part of this girl boss hustle coaches coaching coaches segment of the industry, transitioning their life into what they were calling cozy entrepreneurship. Teaching you how to build a multiple 6-figure business while maintaining a cozy lifestyle. Cozy meaning you don't have to work that hard. You don't have to girl boss too close to the sun. You can just take it easy and get super rich. I made a video, again, a number of months ago talking about that. If I think, Harrison, if you're here, if you could go and find that video, drop it in the chat because you can share links. I would appreciate it. But essentially, that's the gist of the video. Anyway, in the subreddit the other day, someone shared that Stacy, the individual whose podcast we just listened to, is now jumping on this bandwagon of building a cozy business. And one of the points I made in that initial video is that The whole soft girl, cozy entrepreneur movement is being perpetuated by people who have already achieved financial success. And so it's easy for me, if I'm a millionaire, to come on and say, build a business. It's so easy. You don't even have to work that hard. You're not going to get burnt out. When I'm already in a financial position where I've banked enough money that I don't really have to work that hard anyway, because I can just live off my dividends or live off the fruits of the labor of the past. And so I'm really hesitant to take burnout advice from anyone who is super wealthy and is already financially set. But alas, I want to show you her new offer because she is jumping on this trend. And exactly, it is reeking of privilege. That is correct, Monica. So let's go ahead and have a look. This is the design of her website. I actually physically can't scroll over. Like, the rest of it is the right size, but the header, whoever designed it, fucked up. But I believe it's called Capacity Work, just based on the title of the URL here. So it's an entrepreneur series, more energy, more clients, more results without the burnout, the key to achieving more without overworking. So again, learn how to build a business without having to work that hard is the general idea. I haven't read through this, but that is my assumption. So create a bigger capacity than you ever knew was possible to do the work you are meant to do in the world to reach new goals of getting it done without burnout. You don't need less work, less distraction, less clients, less ambition. You need to know how to expand your capacity. This isn't productivity. It's not working faster. It's accessing your energy reserves, challenging your beliefs in your own capability, and it's a different level of self-talk. I have used capacity work to make millions of dollars in just 3 days a week. Thank you. Harrison dropped the link to that original video. If you haven't seen it, perhaps you can go and watch it after this. The soft girl era pisses me off. That's what it is. Exactly. Capitalizing on the burnout trend. So that's kind of what I wanted to look at this. Again, I haven't read the sales page, so she might not really be fully leaning into the soft girl thing, but definitely capitalizing on the whole I'm burnt out, how do I get over it? Which seems, again, is a huge trend I'm seeing across the online space. All of these like building without burnout experts. I have used it to balance being a new mom with running an 8-figure business. I have used it to take on roles and responsibilities within my company that needed my attention. What is this photo shoot? Like, this photo specifically, I'm just like, first of all, not a big fan of people using their children to sell their grift, but also just like, what are these photos? It's giving 2010 girl boss, but I guess that makes sense. I'll stop talking. I have used it to expand the number of containers I run, the hours I spend coaching, and the number of people I coach weekly. But I thought we weren't working more. I'm confused. I've used it to accomplish a packed calendar week after week in the hours I choose to work to meet myself in my own ambition. And I've used it to grow my emotional capacity to go through hard stuff and run my business. I can grieve and work. I can be overjoyed and work. I can still handle the biggest problems gracefully and find quick, simple solutions. Why do we have to take every skill set and ability we have and turn it into an online course? I like to think that I also have the emotional capacity to deal with hard things and continue to run my business, but I don't feel the need to turn that into an online course and teach it to other people. I feel like if you don't have the capacity to handle those things and continue to run your business, you should probably go to therapy. You probably shouldn't be giving your money to some online grifter to solve that problem for you. If you're struggling with emotional regulation, I would leave that in the hands of a licensed mental health professional, but that's just my opinion. My inner capacity is endless, and yours is too. Because I learned how to manage my emotions, I feel qualified to launch an online course to teach you how to do it too. A tale as old as time. You just need to know how to bring it forth, how to break through to new capacity levels, and to do it without burning out and being miserable or resentful of your business. And when you do, the energy will come pouring out of you to do all the things you've been wanting to do in your life and in your business. It's time to create those ideas you've been sitting on, to take more clients, to make more money, to manage everything required to run a business more smoothly with capacity work. Again, Huge formatting problem here. I don't know who built this website, but you should fire them. I can't even read what I'm going to get because it sucks. Okay, how much is it? $300. So I believe this is like a pre-recorded course. Let's see if it's in the FAQs. A series of courses aimed at fueling the coach with thoughts about entrepreneurship and the skill sets required to run a business. What is capacity work? It is the newest course in the Entrepreneur series. So I guess she has a series of courses. The course itself is 90 live coaching calls and access to a Facebook group. Oh, so it's not even a course. It's just 90-minute group coaching calls? That seems kind of silly. Okay, so there's live classes, which are the coaching calls, I'm assuming. That's really misleading. To me, an online course is like a pre-recorded lesson that I can watch at my own pace. Live coaching calls, in my opinion, is something completely different. You guys can let me know what you think in the chat. But again, online course is something pre-recorded, thought out in advance, and like edited to be succinct. Live coaching is much more kind of like, yeah, we might have themes and certain things that we're talking about, but overall it's kind of just like go with the flow and the questions that people have. Two different things. Like if I would either be looking for live coaching or I would be looking for an online course or a combination of the two. But those are two very different things to me, and I would not call live coaching an online course. So a little bit confusing. But I'm not your ideal client, so what do I know? Should I do 2K for 2K before capacity work? Capacity work is an all level course. It's for anybody. If you can walk and talk and you have a wallet and access to a credit card, this is the opportunity for you. Let me tell you. How is it different? If you love 2K for 2K, you're going to love capacity work. This is your chance to spend 6 days of deep coaching and learning with Stacy, just like Mastermind Week for our high level mastermind. So I guess Stacy herself is going to be running this. Very interesting. So it starts next week, is it? The first week is next Monday. So I'm curious to follow along on Life Coach Snark subreddit and see if anyone has feedback, if they've joined this program, how it goes. Suzanne says, I have arrived. Sorry I am late. I had to work. That's a poor people problem, Suzanne, and we don't have time for that kind of energy around here. But I will say this. Happy belated birthday. And to that, I give you these applause. I hope you had a great day yesterday. And sorry that the live stream didn't happen on your birthday as promised. Space Pastry says, I've actually accepted my limited capacity. You know what? I'm here for this. Six weeks of running to the chat box. That's it too. I know we've talked about this. Suzanne and I have gone on and on and on about this, and I'm sure I've talked about it on live stream, but my problem with a lot of these like live coaching programs and why I often prefer the like pre-recorded to the point courses is that, first of all, if there's so many people in these programs, you don't even get a chance to ask your questions. But second of all, the questions that do get asked aren't even relevant to your specific business. And like, I would much rather just buy an online course that's going to teach me a specific skill than waste my time listening to other people get coaching on something that isn't relevant to me. But that's just my preference. I know everyone is different. Some people love to, you know, get the tea on what's happening in Jane Doe's business and they want to be here and they want to listen to that. But that is not the life for me. So anyway, that's really all I have in terms of this. I'm curious to see if people have feedback on that program as it progresses over the course of the next 6 weeks. It looks like, so it's multiple times a week. It's Monday, Wednesday, Thursday for the next 2 weeks. So hopefully by April, we will know. Was it good or was it garbage? Stay tuned to find out. Yeah. Monica says the chat box can be overwhelming with too many people. I know I've shared this before, so if you've been here a while, you've heard this story, but I joined a like marketing coaching program during the pandemic. And there were hundreds of people in this program and they would host one call a month. And basically like 5 out of the whatever, I don't even remember if it was 200 or 500, at least 200 people, they would get to, like 5 people could ask a question. It was crazy. I was fortunate that by some dumb luck, I was one of the 5 people in the very first coaching call that was able to like get hot seat coaching. And the recommendations they gave me actually gave me like, I paid $100 for that program. It was like a month to month thing. And the return I got on that investment was somewhere from like $1,000 to $1,500. So it was worth it for me. But I ended up canceling the following month because I'm like, if I don't get the opportunity to ask my specific question, this just isn't worth even the $100, because everyone's businesses were so different that like there was a woman in there who was like a doula. And so she's asking questions about like getting clients for her doula business. Like that's not relevant to me. It's not worth my time. So I think it's important to find like what is the right fit for you. And I'm not saying that everything is garbage, but to call your live coaching program an online course is a little bit confusing to me. Interesting. So Suzanne says, I find it interesting she will run the calls on her cheap programs, but doesn't turn up onto her high-end ones. I'm curious to see. So what you missed in the podcast episode we just learned about, she briefly touched on her funnel and how she brings people in through like paid ads into 2K for 2K to then lead into 200K to then lead into her $2 million group. I'm speculating that this program, she'll do lots of live coaching, make you feel really good, make you feel like you're getting value, to then funnel you into 2K for 2K. Maybe I've heard she's a little bit more hands-on in there right now because things are maybe not going as well as they once were. To then get you into these other programs where she won't put in as much effort. Because based on what she said in the podcast, if you're making more money, you should be working less. So it might all just be a facade to suck you in. And then once you're in, you get to see the curtain get pulled back. But again, just alleged, just my opinion. Not stating that as fact. I've never worked with this woman. I cannot say anything about the quality of her programs based on my own experience because I don't have any experience. I feel like we won't have to wait that long to find out how garbage it is. You know what? I'll be sitting by that subreddit with my popcorn ready. So if you're watching this and you signed up for this program, please let me know how it went. Yeah, I can't imagine paying that much and not being able to ask questions or get lost in the chat box, honestly. Such a shame. Suzanne says, it's still my birthday where you are in the past. Very true. Still March 12th here, back in 2015. The West Coast, baby. If you have a pre-planned course, I will have to actually think about what I want to teach. Very true. Part of the idea of working less is just making shit up as you go. And so all I have to do is come up with the topic, similar to how I run these live streams. I just show up, I pick a topic, and I just show up and say whatever comes to my head. The only difference is you guys aren't paying me to spew bullshit out of my mouth. Guys, I'm a grifter. I just realized at the end of this live stream that I'm the problem because I just pick a topic and then I just show up and talk about it. Is it me? Am I the drama? Okay, to that I will say this.
I want all of you like let that one especially like deeply sink in.
Just let that sink in. Let the fact that I, Danielle Ryan, here on live stream have admitted that I am the problem. I am the grifter. I didn't plan this content. I just picked a topic and showed up and started talking about it. We should probably pay you $300 for each 6 live streams then. Now we're talking. PayPal is linked in the description. You can now tune in for the next 5 weeks of my 6-week series, How to Definitely Not Become a Millionaire. We actually do pay you. This is also so true. Guys, I really am the grifter. Wow, what a little bit of self-reflection will do. But you know what? I'm not ready to admit that I'm running a scam, so I'm going to be deleting your comments once we log off this stream here because I don't have time for your negative hater energy, okay? If I've learned anything today, it's create your own echo chamber to boost your bank account. So on that note, I'm going to leave it here. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for showing up on a Wednesday, a Thursday if you're in Australia. That's it. That's all I got. Next week, we're going to be looking at, I have it on the calendar here, a money coach who's going to teach us how to make sales effortlessly. So if you didn't get rich this week, next week is your chance. Okay. Take care. Comb your hair, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.